But I think a
By
lot,
the
a
way,
lot of stuff. Oh, hey, we're live. Cool.
we're live. We're live, Joe. We're live.
Yeah,
What's going
exciting
on, man?
times, man. Exciting times.
Exciting times. Well, it's
Yeah,
certainly interesting.
I just look at the resiliency of the. I mean, there are problem spots, but when I look at the resiliency of the U.S. economy right now and the dollar, and the markets are doing right now after an inflation print, um, now U.S. Euro parity, which tells me, obviously dollars are being bought. Um,
Yeah.
Last currency standing kind of thing. I mean, I just feel like, now the market's pricing in 100 basis point rate hikes, for the next couple of them, and nobody cares. The markets are up, you
Yeah.
know. I did see one just a little piece of data a couple of days ago. I can't remember where the source was, but it was someone claiming a real wage decline value of like 5%, which, I find that hard to believe right now. Just when everywhere I go, I see signs. I was on a Jersey Turnpike a couple days ago. Every little fast food place in the service areas has got help wanted signs up. Burger
Yeah.
King, $18 to start with benefits. So
Yeah.
maybe they been that high for those wages, service wages, for a long time, or is this relatively new?
No,
Because
I think it's all since. Look, I think last year we started seeing these climbing wages,
yeah,
but I think they're still having to fight each other for people willing to do that work, that service industry work, because it's not very glamorous. So who did I see the
no,
other day? I saw somebody the other day was paying $20 an hour, and at 20, I think it was 25 hours per week, you got full healthcare benefits and some college tuition shit. I don't think it was
sounds like a Starbucks.
I know it
No,
sounds like Starbucks, but
yeah.
it wasn't Starbucks. I can't remember where the hell I was in California that I was like, holy shit, that's pretty amazing. So
Well,
anyway,
everybody's hiring everywhere, and so that's good. And the wages seem to be higher. Of course, we know that the cost of stuff is higher too.
well,
But
we
that
had big
just
inflation numbers, right?
Yeah, but like we said, fuel prices have been going down.
Yep.
That's the biggest visible component of it, and that's the biggest impact to everyone.
Yeah.
Is my feel. But now, of course, food prices are up too. Rent's up. I saw something that the average rent in New York just topped $5,000. For an apartment.
I saw that. Yeah.
Today I just saw it in a headline somewhere. So obviously people are feeling that. I kind of feel that real estate's going to be heading, into a normalization period. In that,
I saw a piece yesterday saying that that it's not yet entirely a buyer's market now, but it is becoming more of one where they now have leverage. Houses aren't selling as fast as they were. So
yeah, that's what
I
I'm
did see an
seeing.
article too that said Miami was in the top 7 of inflation cities in the United States. So,
Well, it makes sense. I saw some data recently too on what was it? It was like about housing supply, and 2012 to 2022, and you can see the Florida, and it was just kind of that little South Miami tip down there was red, with tight supply. But now it's like all of South Florida is red. And
yeah.
all these other areas are red too. The ones that weren't red, that were those Midwest heartland cities, Kansas City, St. Louis, Tulsa, Memphis, I think, and stuff in those areas where there seemed to be an ample supply.
Right.
I drove through a lot of those cities a couple of years ago, and they're real cities. Don't get me wrong, and there's stuff going on, and there's
Sure.
restaurants, and they've emptied out some, because if you think about it, all these cities were really built as we were, I guess, migrating is the right word, westward, and setting up trading posts where you're either bringing in cattle or something to feed the big cities in the east, or it was a railroad stop, or it was a river logistics stop. These all popped up over logistics and moving resources from west to east.
Right.
when you get through phases like that, I don't know what these cities do anymore, because food comes from everywhere now.
Sure.
But still, services-based economy with some manufacturing and some high tech. I mean, they're all ripe for that, and the price is right, and particularly in these markets where you can live anywhere. Those are the places to look at in the U.S. So,
Yeah.
Here in South Florida, it's like you got the Everglades there, so you can
Yeah.
only develop so much.
It's true. It's true.
It's a
They
tight
keep
supply.
encroaching further on it, but they can't do much more. Hey,
Yeah.
Nathaniel says, welcome back, fellas. Glad to have the pod to pass my work day. Hey, we're glad to be here, man. Excited
Glad to
that
help
you're-
out.
Yeah, thanks for watching, listening, etc. We're excited to be back.
Yeah, but so to me, I see the macro stuff, again, inflation, but I see the big components coming back to normalcy or over the next couple of months. Dollar's just going to get stronger, which does, of course, hurt exports because it makes our goods more expensive. But, for overseas travel, it's pretty good if anybody's traveling these days out of the U.S. And, for savings accounts, for people with cash in the bank, retirees, et cetera, it's going to start generating a return for them again.
Yeah.
What does that mean for crypto? I see massive adoption everywhere. I see a lot of negative press, a lot of FUD, of course. When 17 billion goes to zero in a day, you can't not expect a bunch of what the fuck kind of stuff. I mean, if a bank went down like that, it would be the same thing, right? You'd be like, what the? So they're big gaping holes. But at the same time, the underlying technology seems to be still being adapted, being worked out. I see tons of building going on everywhere. I feel positive. I mean, I feel like we go maybe sideways, maybe dip, but I think a lot of stories are teed up. I think I saw on your feed to talk about the ETH merge. And to me, it seems like that might be the critical event.
Well, I definitely think it's and ETH was up 12% in the last 24 hours. So that's awesome. Yeah, it looks like they're counting it on September 19th is the current assumption. Where the hell is it? Here we go. Let me open this up. Share screen. Gotta shrink this window. All right. Got it up. Yeah. So the last public test net to run through the merge transition should happen around August 11th. If everything goes well with Gurley, we could see a mainnet merge around the week of September 19th. So looking good. Looking really good right now.
Okay, so I mean, you know more about this than I do, and I remember we've been talking about something like this since I think early 2018. When we were always talking about the whole ETH proof of work to proof of stake thing, and it was the analog back then was like swapping out jet engines at 35,000 feet, going 600 miles an hour. So in a broad sense, I get that, but what do you see as being the big sort of value creators here when this merge does happen?
Well, look, I think in the general market, this whole I've spoken out about the Bitcoin mining electricity bullshit for a long time, and I'm a big believer in incentives, and I think that the incentives to make more money are great incentives for coming up with new methods of using electricity. And I think Bitcoin can drive that. So I don't buy into it. But the fact that, this 99% decrease in energy usage, electrical usage, when we go from proof of work to proof of stake is a huge adoption issue for traditional finance companies that want to be, environmentally sound, for the general public in general. It should make things run more smoothly. It should. I read a really compelling piece the other day outlining why this would make Ethereum more secure. And a lot of the arguments go back and forth between why proof of stake might be less secure, more secure, et cetera, et cetera. But all in all, it does a number of things to improve performance, improved energy consumption. It's going to make it more adaptable and more adoptable for people. And then if you look at the roadmap past this, there are a ton of new features and functionalities coming into it. And I read a really good, I'll put it in the show notes because I don't know where the hell it is at the moment. A really good synthesis about this whole idea of Ethereum replacing Bitcoin as the store of value. Because when all of this happens and we start to see more adoption of it, and we see that it's functioning better, what can happen is that all of the layer twos now will be using Ethereum to write, obviously, transactions to the chain, or to use it for storage of the transaction information and data. And what happens is now you have a chain that is lower energy consumption, better functioning, and less costly, although they're not saying fees are going to drop dramatically from this, but also allows you to have a store of value model for Ethereum while all the functionality happens on layers on top of it, right? So the people who are interested in kind of this store of value thing model can now have something that also has this world computer on top of it. So all the functionality and capabilities are there. And from my perspective, if the traditional finance guys start moving into this and we start seeing more kind of regulatory licensed options on the Ethereum blockchain for DeFi type protocols and functionality, to them, it's going to make more sense to invest, in my mind, to the base layer of Ethereum while utilizing the functionality of layer twos on top of it for speed and low cost. So I think that Ethereum is perfectly positioned right now. And I think that the adoption levels and the interest in Ethereum are because of that. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think, I mean, as to where it is in a chart, Ethereum, I mean, I think, yeah. I mean, how many times have we seen this thing below and between 4,000 and 5,000?
Yeah.
In the last year.
Yeah.
So I think that this sort of crabbing, et cetera, is directly tied to this merger in my mind, and as well as the overall macro stuff. And then the whole, like, wait, what's going on here? But once it happens, I agree. It's like, this is like the commerce platform.
Yeah.
Or it's the commerce internet, or whatever we want to call it at that point. Whereas we know what Bitcoin will be. We hope it goes into a few other areas, but we already know what its strengths are and why it is what it is. And this is something different. And then all of the other things that run off of it. I mean, I kind of am excited too to see how it flows into the other layer ones, what they do, or how it changes those dynamics amongst them. I mean, now Ethereum seems to be like the, ultimate layer one now, or layer zero, or layer negative, whatever, whatever you want to call it. But you know what I'm saying? Now it's kind of taken over all the kind of Cosmos vibe and all of those things, where the between the chains stuff. Now all of a sudden it's like, is everybody going to be subordinate to this now, or some component of it? Even though I'm talking about the Solanas and the Avalanches and people like that.
Well, and I don't know. Look, I mean, I think they all have their Phantom, Avalanche, Solana. They all have their built-in pretty strong core communities. Mm-hmm. And there are certainly, advantages that each of them have over Ethereum and other transactions and chains. And fees are always going to be an issue. It won't be an issue on Ethereum with layer twos, but you get it all in one in some of these other chains. The other thing is these subnets that Avalanche and now BNB chain have. Those are really compelling from the perspective of being able to deploy the need for high-speed compute that even some of the layer twos are going to run into. They're going to run into getting clogged if they become highly popular. So this idea of subnets to me is pretty powerful. And I think that gives Avalanche a really competitive advantage. But I do think this positions Ethereum for people to say, well, wait a minute, why? If I build on a layer two on Ethereum, I have all the security and capabilities of Ethereum. I can attract traditional finance, big money coming in. That's going to probably first go to Ethereum. So why would I start on an alternative layer one? I don't know what's going to happen, but I certainly think your point there makes a lot of sense, that Ethereum is going to gain a lot of strength from this.
Yeah, and it will be kind of the, kind of the traditional finance, what I call the CYA move.
Yeah.
I could see going into another chain other than Ethereum, and then maybe that one doesn't work out, and then you're getting fired. But if you
Yeah.
go in and do Ethereum, and then it doesn't.
Yeah, it's the
work out,
IBM of blockchains,
exactly.
right?
You're like, well,
Yeah.
shit, it's Ethereum,
Yeah.
so your job is safe.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the easy default solution or the short decision point for almost all of corporate America.
Yep.
Across the board, the save the paycheck move.
Yep.
So I think that helps a lot. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm definitely excited. I'm really excited about this one.
Eamon just notified me. I saw this just before we came on, and I just decided to pass on it. But Eamon brought up that Russia just banned crypto for payments. Putin just signed the bill, and he said he feels bullish because the West can't adopt a Russian policy, right? Anything Russia's doing, we most likely currently are going to want to be opposite of it. And I think that makes a ton of sense. So I actually do agree with you, Eamon, that I think this is bullish. I definitely think that there's a ton of potential that if they ban crypto entirely, of course they've done this before, that it's good for us.
But you can still own it and you can still mine it, but you can't pay with it. Is that right?
I don't know. Let me see.
Because don't we have some banks there that you can deposit it into? I remember some bank deal there where you could was starting to take, I guess, custody relationships on crypto. I have a hard time.
The legislation obliges exchange operators to refuse to process transaction, facilitating the use of DFAs, a legal category currently covering cryptocurrencies as monetary surrogates.
Yeah, I can't really understand to me,
no payments inside the country.
I guess it's a sales tax issue probably or something within Russia, but they're not. They're obviously hoarding it themselves because of the sanctions,
right?
Which who wouldn't? Diamonds, gold, crypto, whatever. I'm just trying to think why. I don't know. I have trouble following the logic of what this guy's doing these days myself. But,
he's such a fucktwat. It's just,
I don't, from an economic control standpoint, I don't see how that really helps you.
Well, I wonder if what they saw was citizens
taken out of the banks maybe and going into crypto.
Exactly. And so they're starting to get worried about losing control over their economics, their financials in the country. And so I have to believe that something is driving this. And, look, he's in as much as, the war has kind of gone back and forth with some Russian victories recently. The fact is that they are, and we still haven't done a complete lockdown on them economically. The fact is that they have to be hurting internally, and I got to believe that things are only going to get worse from here. So I don't know.
Oh yeah, no. Look, just to touch briefly, the semiconductor imports have been cut off like 94.7%, something like that, and you cannot sustain a modern army without semiconductors. And
right,
the Chinese. While the Indians and Chinese dabble a little bit on the oil side, and obviously Europe, oil and gas, they haven't been breaking the sanctions.
No.
Like people were so worried about. So
yeah,
I agree with you. This is it's a mid game, mid to long game, but they are hurting. There's internal data I think showing a 27% contraction in GDP. Look, the ordinary Russians don't feel it because they're used to just eating shit every day.
Yeah,
and they have been. They've had to. So it's a question of how long until his pals say, wait. I was worth $40 billion last year, and now I'm worth $4 billion.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you see the press now is running articles on who might be the next. I saw something on his right-hand person, the head of the National Security Council. I want to say begins with a P, maybe like Peskov or something like that. That he's the guy that everybody waits to see because he's the only one who supposedly knows what Putin's going to do in anything. Even Lavrov doesn't know. So you see speculation on who's next. I don't know. I think this is a 6-month transition, basically.
Yeah, I don't know.
If I was him, I'd be cutting my deal right now.
Yeah, might as well.
lock in your money, your amnesty, whatever. Get the hell out of Dodge and
Yeah, he
live out the
can't
next
give up
5
the
years.
power. It's all
I
ego
know.
and power.
Yeah, that's what it is with
all
these
ego.
guys. You're
Yeah.
right.
Hey, so I'm going to post this in the links. I won't go through them all, but CZ tweeted, "Who should I follow?" And I put together a list that I think is pretty good in a thread underneath in a reply to him. So I'm going to put that up because as I was kind of going through the people I think people should follow that I follow, and this isn't everybody I follow with notifications on, but these are some of the folks. Some of them are crypto, some of them are not. Some of them are people I interviewed, some are people I not. But I think if I do say so myself, I think it's a pretty good list. So I'm going to post this in the feed because I think there's some good folks in here, a lot of people to learn from, etc. So I'll post the link in there.
So did he come back to you? Did he comment?
Oh, no, he hasn't commented on it, but yeah, whatever.
I'm sure you'll tell us if he does, right?
Yeah, I'll be sure to let you know. Hey, man.
Headliner tomorrow of the show. CZ or Monday. CZ replies.
Just a reminder to everyone before I talk about this, I was an advisor to this project, so I have a financial play in this project for a long time in the future. I will have a financial play in this project, but Walk-in, the exercise to earn project that I worked with and helped and interviewed, made the top 10 list of most Solana wallet holders, and they have 100,000 plus wallets utilizing Walk-in right now. So that's, to me, is pretty frigging impressive that Walk-in has hit that level of wallet growth right now. Steppen is number 3. But if Walk-in keeps this up, they're going to be a lot bigger. And the nice thing about Walk-in is you don't have to pay to start playing the game. So it's by the way, Niblets. Yes, I'll put that list in the Discord, which I have totally neglected, but is on my list to get back onto next week to start building it up now that I'm back from vacation. So anyway, I'm excited for these guys. They're hard workers. They're good people. The project is solid, and they're doing an awesome job communicating with their users and building up their user base and keeping people engaged. So excited about that.
What's the token price at?
0.09, I think, something like that. So it was up to 0.16, 0.17, post sale, public sale. But of course, gave a chunk of that back since then. So,
oh, good. Who's this Orion?
He's one of the other advisors and investors in the project.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah.
Nice.
Let's see what else I got. Oh, this was the merge stuff. So here's the actual timeline for the merge. Gurley Prater client releases 27th or 28th of July. Announced 28th, 29th. I'm not sure what that means. I don't know what Prater Bellatrix on the 8th of August. The Gurley merge will happen on the 11th. And August 18th, they'll plan the mainnet merge and merge 2 weeks later, September 19th. So good to see. Really excited for that to happen. Joe, I saw this site. I don't even know how the hell I found it. I think we've talked briefly about Soma in the past. But this is pretty interesting and something I think to keep an eye on. It's not only tokenized equities, but it's also crypto and securitized tokens and NFTs. But it's a AMM-based DEX that is claiming to be completely regulatory compliant, registered under the SEC on all the different regulatory, what's the word I'm looking for? SEC and FINRA regulated, licensed under exchanges and all of the other things, I guess, money changer, et cetera, that they have to be under, is what they claim. I started to try to look around and see the data, the information on the documentation on where their registrations are and look at the license and everything, but I didn't have time to get back to it. But pretty interesting, have their own token, utility focused for paying fees, et cetera, et cetera. And they're doing a sale. So seed round is $1 a token, liquidity round $1.75, public round is $2.25. And the interface looks really nice, but they're going to be a whole segment of the DeFi space that has no interest in this project because obviously they're going to have to KYC everyone, et cetera, et cetera. But there's an entire market out there for securitized, tokenized equities and for TradFi to come into that are going to love this. something that is not only DeFi oriented, not only has an AMM for the DEX, but also has these tokenized secured assets, that it's regulatory compliant, that it's also doing crypto as well as NFTs. I think that something like this looks good. The pedigree of it's TradFi guys when all the links are to their LinkedIn and not their Twitter handles. But the pedigree looks pretty good. So we'll see. But they're targeting their market. They're targeting people coming from TradFi retail traders in the stock market. And I think this is a smart play, because if you can do tokenized securities, you can do offerings, you can do crypto and NFTs all together. I think puts you in a good position for stronger growth later on. So we'll just have to take a look at it.
Yeah, I'm looking at their team. Looks great, by the way. I'm looking at their roadmap, and I'm not sure where they are in it. But it looks like they did created the joint venture to launch Summa Finance, and they must have completed the seed round. And I guess they acquired or are to acquire their Reg CF, their crowdfunding license for U.S. retail.
Yeah.
Now, phase 2, I see, launching the V1 platform, which I guess isn't up yet, complete liquidity round. But there was something I thought was interesting: acquire a New York bit license in phase 3, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, and not easy to do.
No, that's a hard one. But I saw that there's something about DeFi, integrate DeFi yield farming functionalities into phase 2. So that'd be a good one to watch.
Yeah,
with
definitely.
their licensing or their attempts to be fully compliant, and then actually doing DeFi yield farming under one of those. And that's before they get their bit license. So yeah, this would be a fun one. This would be a good one to watch.
It's a good one. I thought it was interesting. So
yeah, good find.
This was 12%. The gain of 12% gains as of this morning. Where are we today? Right now, let me take a look. 1207. So still maintaining that. I mean, a little dip here, but still maintaining those levels. So,
well, on the TradeFi side, I saw a clip somewhere today that what's his name, Kramer on CNBC was calling a bottom around July 13th.
Oh,
so
that's dangerous. We don't. Anytime he's,
Well, he brings the retail people back into the market over there.
That's true. That's true.
So it just shows that, like, on that side, people are talking the way we talk. That all right, it's grabbing, and this could be the bottom, short-term rallies, whatever. But again, it feeds into our overall kind of feeling about the market.
Yeah.
Which to me, I don't feel the doom and gloom.
Yeah,
I don't know if anybody else does, but
I'm sure they're. Look, I mean, the fear and greed index is at 15. So that there.
We're up we're up 80%. Not quite that much, but you know what I mean.
Let me see. That's where it was this morning. Let's see where it is right now. Yeah, 15.
Weren't we hitting didn't we get to 6? Or what was the lowest?
No, I don't think we got. Well, maybe we did.
We were definitely in single digits.
They should track it. They should track it over time. They should have a chart of it. But look at this, man. The longs are only 41% on Bitcoin and 58% the shorts. So it's interesting. It's so weird.
Where's it on ETH?
They don't say. They don't show ETH. Maybe they'll show it over here, but I doubt it.
Yeah, because I was looking at some stuff on what was it? Kingfisher or Jarvis, and there was a lot of stuff. I mean, the funding rates are still longs paying shorts. But I don't know today, obviously that might have flipped. But, it's a thing to watch. And, again, I think, long ETH, short Bitcoin right now, or somehow playing the BTC ETH chart. That might be a good move.
Yeah, totally. Well, look, and if you're staking ETH on Anchor or Lato or wherever, there's some opportunities there. So we'll be earning more. And after the merge, you can earn 6% on your staked ETH. So looks like Goldman Gary may be feeling a little pressure because, he's Mr. I am God and I will tell you what you will do. In recent interview, he started seemed to be backing off a bit from that, and talking about tailoring the disclosures for DeFi projects to what would be relevant to them, like making it so that they can disclose things in a different way, because what we disclose is not necessarily in this world the same as what TradFi should be disclosing, right? So I found that really interesting, that he seems to be kind of starting to hedge on this a little bit, and maybe the pressure and the gains from TradFi are saying, hey, dude, we want in this, so you better fucking loosen up or something. So,
no, he might be the next CEO of Uniswap, right?
That's true.
He's probably looking for his next gig.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the smart move. But it's the, you're right. I mean, this is a interesting turn of events, where he's, been playing hard ass for the last 18 months. And now all of a sudden, I think he's just realized that you can't regulate it the same way, and that we have to figure out a better way to regulate it. Now, I find that 100% encouraging. I love it.
Yeah, no. And, if you think about it, here's the thing that's interesting, right? You come in here, you play this hard ass game, and then you start to think about it and you go, okay, shit, I gotta make something happen. Because what he realizes is the pressure for people to be in crypto assets is growing. But here's the thing, like it's always interesting how people get their attitudes into one's frame of mind and can't shift how they think about things, right? I'm glad to see him making this slight shift here, because obviously that means at least he's feeling pressure or thinking about it. But think about this. If you were the Securities Exchange Commission and you said to this world, hey, we're not only going to custom tailor it, but we're going to make it so that if you come to us, we're going to put you in a sandbox, right? For the first 6 months of your existence or a year of your existence, we're going to ask you to disclose certain things. But you know what? The SEC is now not only going to be somebody that's working to protect investors, but is also going to work to enhance what this industry can do, right? We see the future. We want the United States to be on the leading edge, the cutting edge. What if he was the guy that took the Securities Exchange Commission from this painful to deal with organization and what became one that actually encouraged it? Like started training retail traders, started providing all kinds of insights, started sandboxing projects, started allowing people to build projects within the realm of the SEC, reduce the disclosure, and the most important thing to startups, reduce the legal costs, right? I mean, that's the thing that is stifling innovation, is the fear of dealing with the SEC. And then number one, being compliant, that's going to cost you 150, 200 grand in registrations, legal, everything else. And then number two, if you don't be compliant, if you don't go in and register, what's going to happen to you later on, right? If he could switch this and say, you know what, we're going to figure out a way to not only tailor this to crypto, but we're going to figure out a way to encourage it. We're going to encourage growth. We're going to encourage people complying. We're going to encourage people building and innovating. That, to me, that's a legacy I would want if I was Gensler, right? That's how I want to be remembered, that I boosted the US economy, that I boosted innovation, that I cleared the way for the whole world to be able to have crypto assets and be able to trade and learn and be safer about it. That would be what I would want if I were in his shoes. So hopefully we'll see if he starts to shift that direction. I don't know.
No, look, this is a massive signaling. And to me, it's that, I can't remember if we were talking about this before the show or after, but, I saw something about, say Bitcoin mining. And now they're like, oh yeah, it uses enough power as Houston. Okay, well, whether that's right or wrong, I mean, what it tells me is, yeah, we've got most of the Bitcoin mining here. Now, truth be known, a lot of that, the stuff in Texas is coming off of oil field, energy that never gets used. So to make the comparison, it's not necessarily zero sum. It's stuff that is going to be used or just go away. And so you use that, aggregate it all, and then you go, oh, it's the size of Houston. But, you were wasting the size of Houston before you started mining the Bitcoin with it, okay? Because it would go to nothing. Yep. So aside from that, you look at what's going on in institutional buys, the USDC coin, the stable coin itself, what's going on there. And then you see now coming in and signaling to DeFi that, hey, it's cool to be DeFi in America. We can do it regulated, and we need to do it differently. It shows a further consolidation of cryptocurrency, blockchain technology in the US to me.
Yeah.
And he's saying, bring it, we'll figure out a way. So, it helps him long-term career-wise. It helps him, on all the themes that we've discussed, bazillions of times, on, the sandbox approach that you've brought up repeatedly, fostering technology development. It's a national security issue, all of those things. I mean, I'm just really glad to see the U.S. sort of government turning that direction over the last.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope it stays. He keeps it up, right? I would love to be able to say, you know what, Gensler did everything he could to promote innovation in the United States in finance, and so I hope this continues. I hope this is a foreshadowing of good things to come. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, what was this about? I saw
so he started tweeting that the liquidators are trying to fuck them over. Basically, they did have
all their shit.
Yeah,
Go figure.
Well, here's the interesting thing. Sue is actually on both sides of the coin, so to speak, with Three Arrows, because he's actually an investor, a creditor, and a founder / employee of the firm. So he's actually one of the people that the liquidation processes are supposed to benefit. And what happened is that the liquidators, let me find I don't remember what project it was, but the liquidators failed to act on, their Starkware tokens. They didn't claim the tokens by the July 5th deadline, or at least it doesn't look like they did, which means that this investment that they were supposed to be getting, that the liquidators, not probably being DeFi savvy. Didn't know, although I think they say in the communications from their attorneys that they notified the liquidators that, hey, you got these fucking Starkware tokens, you need to go get them. Evidently, it's a substantial sum of money that the liquidators may have screwed up and not taken care of. So, at the end of the day, it sounds like they're struggling with this process, but anyway. It is what it is. So
that's just ineptitude. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Eamon says they did screw up big time by the liquidators not claiming the Starkware options. That was their best position. Insane. Yeah. Like, that's the thing that, all these people who are owed money by 3AC are going to be probably now suing the liquidators.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I would go right to the liquidators, sue them next. Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So
and now Three Arrows is like, fuck, go to them, man.
Exactly.
We were turning it around. We were ready to go. We were going to claim those tokens, and those imbeciles from TradeFi world left $40 billion on the table.
Yeah.
Let's all sue them.
Yeah, exactly. Playboy is launching a meta mansion in the sandbox. So that'll be interesting. I wonder how far they'll go with that.
Hopefully all the way.
Eamon says it was about $1 billion worth in Starkware.
Yeah, real money, man.
That's that's a colossal fuck up.
And that's at this pricing level too. I mean, in 2 years, what would that be worth? I mean, It could be 20 billion.
Yeah. It's fucking colossal stupidity. I found this interesting. Coinbase has taken their kind of markets list and turned it into essentially a coin market cap competitor, Gecko competitor, Dropstab competitor, with actually some pretty interesting information. New listings on Coinbase, where the biggest gainers are, the standard kind of shit you would see. But I would expect that with the amount of traffic that comes into Coinbase, that this could actually turn out to be a pretty valuable play by them. And they have pretty extensive content around the tokens that are listed there. So, and it's not just tokens that are available on Coinbase. It's also, but you can see that, right? So you can click on Tradable and see the ones that are just on Coinbase. You can filter by gainers and losers, etc. But look, I think this is a smart move by them because they probably have a ton of traffic and they probably figure, what the fuck, we'll take figure out another revenue stream.
Now I see right there. Look, hold still. Monavale was listed on Coinbase June 27th. Remember how I said digital access swinging around? Now we know why. All right.
Wow.
Wow. There's only 5,000 tokens. That's the thing. And so,
1,300 a piece.
so there's the listing on 10 right before 10:30. Oh, excuse me. No, I'm sorry. We're wrong chart. Over here on the right side, that spike must be that run
right
up
here
is the going in.
Yeah, that's it. Well, somebody knew the day before. Oh no, that's the day of right there.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah, that's a nice little rise on Mona. Damn.
Well, yeah, I'm happy for those guys. I mean, look, the market cap's still only 13.9.
Yeah.
So, and I think this is a huge play when we talk about metaverses and NFTs and real world, meta world, whatever.
Yeah.
These guys have, they're a step in that direction, a big step. None of it is, the only step, of course, but actually, now I see there's 10,000 of these in circulation, not 5. So I was erred on that, but
10.2 thousand. Yeah, still that's a nice tiny little look. And I will tell you this, when I interviewed her, not only was I impressed with how brilliant she is and how she has, this big vision for what she's doing. The platform they have built, and I asked her about this during my interview with her, the platform they have built is actually an impressive, powerful kind of sub-DAO is not a strong enough word for it, but it's kind of like an ecosystem platform, because they built this to be like this big cornerstone DAO, right? And then underneath that are all of these capabilities for anybody to create their own tokens, their own DAOs, their own voting platforms, their own tech platforms, integration of tech, integration of NFTs. They have built a really impressive platform, just absolutely amazing. And one of the questions I asked her was, is this something you're going to deploy as something that other kinds of projects outside of the ecosystem can use? She said, well, they can do that today. It's open source, but we actually, because of the nature of what they're doing, tackling the fashion industry, what she revealed to me was her vision is not really, she felt like fashion was the fastest way to get adoption of decentralization. Ultimately, her mission is decentralize the world. And she's a ETH maxi, and she's pretty hardcore about a lot of stuff. A couple of things that have pissed off her community, but her mission is as an ETH maxi is decentralization. And she sees this web coming out of the fashion industry, making it so that she starts permeating other industries. So manufacturing, service industries, art, whatever. So what she understands is that she can start with this core, start with the NFTs, have people start interacting in the fashion industry with it. Then they start seeing the ability to interact and utilize this platform for their interaction with their suppliers and their manufacturers and their employees. That's really her big vision. She started off with fashion, and fashion's a huge thing to tackle, but ultimately where she wants it to go is to this full-blown, decentralize the world mission. And I don't know if she'll get there or not, but she's certainly hit, firing on all cylinders as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, if I remember right from my conversation with her, that she was always interested in art and everything as a kid, but wasn't her dad like a engineer or a program software developer? And so he had her coding at a very young age.
Yeah.
And then she merged that in with traditional creativity. And that's why she has that kind of, what I was so attracted to this project about is it's a type of, I don't want to say the word kid, that's not what I mean, but they grew up in native tech on sort of smartphones. And at the same time, they were programming or learning from a seasoned programmer that's, a parent. And then they merged that together into ways that people like myself can't see.
Yeah.
Because we didn't grow up that way. And that's where I see her as being visionary and, like you said, tackling all these other big problems, but starting in the fashion world.
Yeah.
So pay attention to this company, everyone, because it is going places.
Yeah, I agree. I really think they're well positioned. I think she's absolutely fucking brilliant. Just that brain is her drive and her brain are next level.
And she communicates very, very well.
Brilliant communicator. Yeah.
And attracts other people. Like there was a couple of other colleagues around her, and I can't remember the names of those companies. Maybe one was DressX. Was it Lauren and DressX or Lauren?
Yeah,
but she had the one where it had the filters. and you'd
With
buy
the
the
AR
outfit.
stuff.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
the other one was the designer.
Stella. I interviewed Stella. I
Oh,
interviewed
good.
Stella a couple of weeks ago. I have an episode coming out with her because she has spun off into her own project, which is actually really cool because it's a bit of metaverse, a bit of a fictional character that came out of the work she was already doing with Digital X. So really interesting shit. So, and she's thriving. She's doing really well. So,
we should really think about, how also on another, our side project thing.
Yep.
This is a metaverse play and it is an
Absolutely.
NFT play. So let's think that through.
Yep.
Cool.
All right, Joe, let's wrap it up. I got a 1 o'clock meeting and I need to roll, but thank you everybody for listening and watching. We appreciate you. We love you as always. If you have thoughts or comments, please don't hesitate to message me, B05 Crypto on Twitter or Telegram. We love you and we appreciate that you spend part of your day with us. MissionDefi.com to get all the episodes and to subscribe on your favorite podcast channels. If you like what we're doing, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast app. You can also subscribe, like, and click the little bell on YouTube to make sure you get notified when our next live episodes come out, as well as the interviews I do for Mission DeFi. I appreciate it. Joe, have a great day. Thanks for joining me, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, everyone. See you on Monday. Have a great weekend, all.